Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Honey. This is my entire journey reading all three books of Crescent City. I have wanted to read Crescent City for a while, and with the announcement of ACOTAR 6 hopefully coming in the next year, please, I decided to expedite it a bit. So, here I am, reading Crescent City. I hope you guys enjoy my little reading journey. It is May 29th, and I look a mess because I've been out and doing stuff and running around and then lounging about all day. And I started about an hour ago, Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. Anyways, my thoughts so far. So I was very confused, but then I'm starting to understand it a little bit. I've read 2 chapters, and my friend who got me into ACOTAR, I had her explain that the Fae kind of here are structured by species. There's different species of Fae, and that makes sense to me. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because I was wondering what the heck was going on. Are the wolves Fae? I don't know. Danica and Bryce are fine so far. I'm not having an issue with that. To be honest, I'm having an issue with the fact that we are in a modern setting, but with fantastical elements. It's not really an issue. It's just hard for my brain to comprehend. The second she said phone, I was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't like third person in anything but literary fiction. Literary fiction, that's fine. I don't care. Do your third person. That makes sense to me. But anything where it's mostly focused on the main character and stuff like that, the third person is kind of grating my brain, and I don't like it too much. Besides that, it's not horrible. I was planning on reading 100 pages per day. I think if I do that to myself, I may die and get burnt out on this book very quickly. So I might just read 50 pages. And some people, you know what? I wish that I was the type of person I will read the amount that I feel each day. But if I do that, I feel like I'm never gonna read. I have to schedule my reading. And then, if I don't want to read a lot, I read 50 pages. And then if I do want to read a lot, I read 100 pages. Here's my reading buddy. I hope Danica doesn't die, because I read the synopsis. Sometimes I don't read synopsis for things, but I did read the synopsis, and I feel like she is gonna die, though. But at least it's the beginning of the book. By the end of this, I might just be like, who's Danica? I persevere for the thought that Cassian will be here eventually. I am 100 pages in. Also, who loves my calendar of crummy? Also, it's hot as shit in California, so excuse me for the fans in the background. I wasn't gonna update everybody, but I do have some thoughts. So, like I said, Danica died. I did like her character, and I was waiting for Bryce and Connor to also hook up. That would have been nice. I still don't know for sure what's happening, but I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I'm not as bored or as upset as I thought I would be at this book, to be honest, which is a good thing. I think it's because it's Sarah. I love her writing style and her writing, but also I'm kind of interested. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused, but also I'm not confused and I'm kind of getting it. I still don't know who Micah is, but I understand different types of, I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying it. Like I said, I'm confused, but I'm having not a good time, but I'm interested. I'm not as upset about the urban fantasy thing as I thought I would be. I think it's because I knew that it was urban fantasy going into it, but them saying clout and having phones and what did they just said something. Oh, video games. I was so I'm imagining all these beautiful Fae people playing fucking Marvel Rivals. Are we for real? Why do I look like that? I'm here in the car. I was running errands, and I thought I'd do a little Crescent City update. It's been a couple days. We are about 200 pages in, and we're setting up the plot. Still, I don't know what I expected out of a 800-page book, and then another 800-page book, and then probably like a 900-page book. Governor of Crescent City has kind of tasked Bryce and Hunt, which is one of the angels who's a slave to the governor, and is also like part of like their version of police, and he's kind of trying to like pay off his debts because he was part of a rebellion that caused him to become a slave, and for every kill that he made for the rebellion, he has to take another life in the name of the governor. But if Bryce finds the person who killed Danica and this other guy, the governor will benefit from it, because it'll kind of be like, oh, like, we didn't let this guy go, like, we didn't falsely accuse someone. It's okay so far. Like, it's not definitely my favorite. Like, when I picked up Crescent City, before I read the synopsis, did I think this is going to be about a murder and like kind of some mystery and thriller elements to it? No, I didn't. To be honest, Bryce is not my favorite FMC, and she's not giving like redeemable qualities to me. It's not me, and I don't like relate to her like I have like with different FMCs from Sarah, like Nessa and Pharaoh. Also, the amount of times that they make comments about her body, I know it's supposed to be like sexy and like whatever. Personally, like, why are we constantly horny when we're talking about death and murder? Like, I don't know. We're about 22% in because my Fable app. Also, follow me on Fable if you haven't. Like, hello, you can see this is past me, but you can see kind of like my reading updates, my reviews and stuff like that for different books that I like. I don't know how I'm going to be reading this on a cruise ship because I go on a cruise in like a week, but we'll try it. My beautiful bookcase is right here, showing off my collection of books. Ignore this one down here. This is my physical TBR. Actually, you know what? I'm ashamed of it, and it's okay. We're going to show our flaws. It has 2 levels to it. Right now, where we are at, I think I'm like 40% of the way through. There's just a lot of like the typical like discovering different clues and like interviewing different suspects. Like, they interviewed, I think, like 2 people. Hunt is starting to like Bryce a little bit more, and they've kind of opened up to each other after getting into like a little fight where he said that he thought that she was like a suspect, but it turns out that she's been doing all that she can to kind of make everyone think that she's like this big party girl, but she's actually not. Yeah, she kind of plays up her persona a little bit, but I wouldn't say that she's like 100% not a party girl, like she kind of explains. We've been putting the clues together with her half-brother, Rune, that this may, and it seems to be heading in the direction of being connected to a horn that went missing that's related to one of the gods named Luna. Right now, Hunt is staying with Bryce for the most part because they're scared with like the bombing and then the killing of the acolyte right after they were there, that they're going to be like a prime target. The question also, is this mystery going to go on for all 3 books? Because I feel like it's not. I feel like we're going to get the definitive answer of who killed Danica and summoned this demon this book, and then whatever repercussions or like rebellion or whatever like happens afterwards, then we're going to explore that in the next 2 books. I don't know how the hell ACOTAR ties into it. I genuinely don't know. And I'm not going to read like the synopsis of the second book. I've stopped myself multiple times. I'm just wondering how we get from murder to ACOTAR. But, so that's why I'm thinking murder doesn't go on for very long. It's a little slow, but hopefully it picks up eventually. It is an 800-page book. I can't stop saying that. So, I think it would be a little slow.
It's too humid outside to film, and obviously I have been sick this past week, and since I'm on a cruise right now and it's the first day of the cruise, I had a lot of alcohol. That has dried out my throat to no end. Where we are at with Crescent City, I read a lot on the plane. I don't know if I said this already, but I thought that Danica had stolen the horn, and it turns out she did, so they're kind of figuring out the motives for that. They're getting freaky slowly but surely, but they're not actually getting freaky. They're just like smelling each other and being weird. All the pack that was left after the murders literally hates Bryce because they found out about all her text messages, and apparently it was all over the news too. Like, I'm the only one in this library right now, so hopefully I can hurry up and get my update done. Well, basically, I was correct about Redner Industries. I called it, and I also called the Danica news stuff. And now I'm thinking maybe Danica knew stuff about Bryce that maybe Bryce didn't know and was like trying to protect her. But also, I'm at this part where Hunt is trying to buy synth, and I'm so confused. I am slightly obsessed with this book. Not to the point where it's like consuming every thought, but like I keep wanting to read it, you know? It took me a second to get into it, but I just don't know how this is gonna be a whole series.
I look absolutely crazy. I know you're watching this for a reading vlog, but let me tell you what my life is like. So I just went on the cruise, which all this I'm very grateful for, but it's like, it's taxing, okay? And I flew back to California, and then the next day we're having a church camp at the church that I grew up in and also the church that I work at. We started finalizing everything the day after I came back, and now we are starting that church camp. I'm hot, I'm sweaty. It's like 100 degrees, the first 100 degrees week in California, and I'm not having it. But anyways, I have waited a couple days to film this final like Crescent City first book wrap up. So I have my notes here. Excuse me. I finished on the plane, which might have not been a good idea because I was genuinely like crying. Like I'm a baby, like I cry at like a lot of books. You know, I was crying, but like it was embarrassing because like the flight attendants were like walking by and I was like, I know that they can see that I'm reading, but like do they think like I'm stupid or like I don't know, overthinking core. If anyone can put light on this because I was so confused. At the end there's supposed to be like a part where the Underking like sends 6 people to wave at Bryce. Who are those 6 people? I tried to look it up and no one told me. No one ever told me. So I will say I'm not a big fan of like hiding things in the narrative unless it's like a mystery, and I guess this was kind of a mystery, so like it's whatever. Hiding a bunch of secrets about Bryce, like it kind of worked, and I'm normally not the biggest fan of it, but it did kind of work, and I wasn't like too upset about it, you know? It was like so chaotic at the end, but and so many things happened, but like it was satisfying, you know? All the death and the killing, and it was just crazy. And Bryce and Hunt almost being dead like 20 times, like it's such a romantic trope, but I eat it up every single time. I don't know. I don't know. The drop scene, like the whole drop like storyline at the end, like that I think that was my favorite part. Like that was just so beautiful, and Danica, she's gonna I know this bitch is gonna haunt the narrative for like the rest of the 1600 pages that I'm about to read. It felt really like, I know this is a romantasy, but it did feel very like fantasy heavy at the end, and I wasn't mad about it. Like it was good. It was action packed. It wasn't half baked. Like it was good. Though I also have another thing with Bryce. I think this might also be why I'm a little disconnected from her. Also, she's really mean to her parents, and I know that she like loves them and whatever, but like, and I know that she can't like tell them everything, but I just don't get why she has to have this attitude with her mom. Like, I'm upset about it. I do wonder kind of like how they're going to reconcile everything. And if I had to guess, that's going to be what this entire book is about, is how they beat the Asteri. Actually, also about Hunt lying to her. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of lying, but I don't know. I guess she lied a bunch too. I do like seeing a man down bad for a curvy woman, though. There were definitely some weird parts, but I did really like it. But there were some parts where I'm like, hey guys, it's been like 2 fucking weeks. I'm sitting like this because I'm too lazy to sit up. Oh, here's my cat, though. Yeah, she has a shelf above my bed. But I'm like 20% into House of Sky and Breath. I went on vacation to Nashville. I had a church camp I had to help run. and those were my last 2 weeks. I think I read like 10 pages during those 2 weeks, so I'm a little behind schedule, but it's fine. Bryce is looking into Danica's connections to the rebels, and Hunt and her are still in their complicated relationship phase. These are hefty books, so I don't know. I might take a break after this one, and I really want to read the new Allie Hazelwood. I am 50% into House of Sky and Breath. Let me start off with my negatives. I had a moment yesterday where I was like, why does this book exist? Because the storytelling begins with the introduction of these new characters. I guess we'll figure it out because it's kind of starting to make a little bit more sense, I guess. It just felt like the storyline in this is kind of just thrown at our characters, and it's not like a logical step from where we were last book to just immediately being associated with the rebels and immediately going against everything that they said they would do, they wouldn't do, they would do. Hunt said he would never be in another war. Here he is. I don't know. I think that's the only negative I really have. I think Crescent City could have been its own book and I would have been happy. But obviously, Sarah likes to develop these worlds and make them into multiple book sagas. But the thing is that this, as a second book, just feels like a totally unnecessary, I guess. But I guess it is necessary because they set up all the rebel. I don't know what the disconnect is with me, is all I'm trying to say. But I think this happens a lot with me in second installments. Oh, except for Akatar. I love that book, okay? I am vibing with the story. Like, I like that we're delving a little bit more into the side characters and getting like more chapters from Rune's perspective, more from Ethan's perspective. And I am interested to see where this goes and what happens next book. I'm griping, but I'm honestly not mad. Still kind of giving a little bit more fantasy than romance, but I know what to expect now, so it's fine. And I like it. So,
Can you tell that I have curly hair?
I am invested at this point. Like the Prince Hunt, like plot line, this is giving me. The Prince Hunt of it all aside, I've been trying to figure out this Agent Daybright thing. I was sitting there, I was like, oh my god, it could be Hypaxia. And then I was like, oh my god, it could be Celestina. And then I was like going back and forth like with both of them, and I was like, oh, it's not Hypaxia though, because like who would she be having sex with? And then I was like, oh, it could be Celestina. But then they did the switcheroo where it's not either of them because they were both hooking up in a closet. Fan art. I saw a little like fire around the hind. And I was like, no way. And I mean, like, she's played it so well. Like, it doesn't really make sense if it is her. She was coming downstairs, and when the harpy was there, and then she comes down, she's looking at him. It's her, bro. I can't believe I haven't seen it this entire time. I mean, like, what hints did she give? But also, I figured it out. If it is her, I figured it out before it was revealed. But I don't feel as smart anymore with the hind reveal because it just happened. I'm almost done, by the way. I have like 30 pages. They literally said, oh, the hind's gonna be there in the dungeon. I don't know how he didn't put two and two together. Hello, Bryce Quinlan. My name is Reesan. If that's the entire book, by the way, I think I'm gonna kill myself. Oh my god, I do miss them though. This is like amazing. But also, why is she there? What the hell's gonna happen to Hunt? I'm stressed. I don't want to start the new book, but I need answers. I finished almost like a week ago. I finished House of Sky and Breath, and I've had like a week to collect my thoughts. I read Call Me by Your Name in between, a very different vibe, but that was a really good book. This was at like the 75% mark. I wrote these thoughts. So now I'm a little more than halfway through the series, and I really do like it a lot more than I thought I would. Does it compare to Akatar? And would I read this and immediately be like, oh my god, like this is up to par with Akatar? No, I don't think so. And I feel like it's a little hard to get into. And I can see, like, with this series, why someone wouldn't like it. I do like Bryce and Hunt. Like, they're good characters. They're not insufferable, which I think makes this series good for me, because if this story was happening with insufferable main characters, I probably would hate it. And I like the side characters. I like the focus in this book on more of the side characters in their stories. The world is cool. It's a little complicated, but that's not bad. Like, I don't mind that in a fantasy. I know some people do, and that's totally like your prerogative. This is like the level of complicated I'm okay with, you know? With the Sophie Renest plotline being so that they could all get into the rebellion, that's fine, but we wasted like 70% of the book thinking that that was important. And I don't know, maybe it's important in this third book, but I doubt it. That goes into why are these books so long? Because she wastes 70% of the time talking about a plot line that really doesn't matter. Like, of course they would go into the rebellion after last spring. Like, of course they would. That would make sense. Why did we have to? Whatever. Just looking back on the book as a whole, we talked about them so much for them to end up not mattering. It's annoying. And in my opinion, that's annoying. I don't like when books do that. And I don't know why we needed to add like Cormac, for example. Like, she wanted that plot line to be like, oh, Hunt's jealous and this and that, but she never like developed it in a way that was like actual jealousy or interesting. Also, how many times are we gonna do the whole song and dance of Danica wouldn't do that because I know her? Obviously you didn't, Bryce. Obviously you didn't. It was a little frustrating that Hell's Armies wanted to help, and it was kind of obvious that they had gone up against the Asteri before, and yet Bryce was like, no. And then now we're in this situation. The plot twist about the Asteri's secret, that was actually really good. That got me. I was like I didn't know we were gonna mess with like space and like stuff like, but I love it. She always knows how to write an ending, so I was very invested in the ending. I was eating it up. But then you land in front of Azrael. I am happy to see my men back. I am. I'm happy in my little romantic heart. I'm happy to see Nesta back. I'm like, Nesta, my baby, I love you and I've missed you. But it felt like literal psychosis when I when I read, hello, Bryce Quinlan, my name is Rhysand. What? It took a second for me to remember how I see the ACOTAR characters in my head. Seeing Bryce and going back, like, what? What? I did like this book. It felt like 60% boring, 40% this is freaking awesome. When I zoom out, I feel like the waste of time at the beginning is what really got me not liking this as much as the first one. So those are my thoughts. I'm scared. Let's get into this last part. Hello, it is nighttime. I'm here with my reading buddy. I have my candle on. It is officially reading time. I'm in my reading nook. Also, and I got my PJs on. So I am 25% into House of Flame and Shadow. I thought I would give quarterly updates, but I don't really have big thoughts. I got a new phone also, and I swear the Octo Buddy is not as good as the other one, and I overpaid for this one. I'm actually liking it more than I thought I would, because everyone was saying it was so hard for me to get through and this and that. And I don't know if it's just because I love ACOTAR and the world of ACOTAR, and I'm just blinded by my happiness to see Nesta back in my stories. And the stuff with Ethan and all of that, that's actually interesting, and it seems to all be gonna be connected in the end. I don't know if it gets worse later on in the book, but right now I'm happy. And I'm realizing I think I like this series way more than I thought I would. So you guys are 50%. I am 50% into House of Flame and Shadow. A little bit more. All I gotta say is not much has changed. We're definitely getting somewhere with figuring out how to defeat the Asteri. Surprisingly, do like this book so far, and I'm into it. It feels easier to read than the last book for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not upset at the ACOTAR crossover just yet. I'm very happy to know that Hunt and Bryce are back together in this book, because at first I was thinking, oh shit, what if this entire book is them being separated? But That wouldn't make sense, but I was scared, okay? I'm happy. I'm enjoying. I've read almost 80% of House of Flame and Shadow. I'm eating this up. I guess I just don't trust what people are saying on TikTok. I've trusted them before with Elsie Silver. I hated Elsie Silver. And then they said this was really hard to get through. I'm eating it up. This is as enjoyable as the first book. Nesta's coming back in. I'm excited. Now my question is, are they really going to defeat this theory in this book? I have a feeling they are. Rune and Lydia, oh my god. My dog. See how little I have left? I'm gonna finish. So, I was excited, so I started saying this. Who's got my phone? I already have to stop you. She's not the scared female she was a week ago. This happened a week ago? That's one thing I'll say. Sometimes Sarah's timing is a little wonky, but it doesn't bother me that much. Does it make sense that this occurs in like 13 days? No, but it's fine. Actually, that does kind of make sense. 13 days makes sense. A week? I'll give a better synopsis tomorrow. All I gotta say is, yes, I loved this maybe as much as the first one. And I'm thoroughly invested now, and I do care about these characters, and this ended in such a good way, and I'm excited for the fourth book. At least it wasn't a cliffhanger, thank God. This book was great and made me very hopeful for the end of the series. It just ended off this video, this journey, with a bang, okay? It got me back into it. I'm loving it. As my thoughts overall, I'm glad I have vlogged this journey for you all, and I hope you enjoy. Oh my god, this is so heavy, the stack. I say this series is on par for Fourth Wing with me. The story is why I loved this so much, and also the humor. I did like Bryce. Hunt is also book boyfriend, but like for like Fourth Wing, for example, I feel like the story is good, but like Xaden makes it for me. But this is like, the story is amazing, you know, and the characters like just add on to it. Crescent City, were you an ACOTAR for me? No. And to be honest, I don't think anything will be ACOTAR level for me. So I'm not even mad about that. Like, I wasn't looking for my next ACOTAR. I really thought I would hate the series, and I cherish it. I really like it. Why was Nesta there? I don't know. Like, I do know, but was it necessary? No. But did I eat it up? Yes. What does this mean for ACOTAR? I don't know, but I'm excited. See, this just makes me excited. Definitely have to say the first and third, though, were my favorites. These are kind of on par for me, but if I had to pick one, I might pick the third, actually, that I like the most. Just in this moment, but like last night, I was thinking I liked the first one more, so I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, Sarah, I love you. Thank you for giving me good books. And now I feel like I'm finally out of my romantasy slump a little bit that Reckless / Onyx Storm put me in. I'm not as nervous to read Throne of Glass. Let me know if you like this style of video, because I will do that for Throne of Glass. This video has been filmed over the course of 3 months because I'm a slow reader, and also I had a bunch of breaks in between. Let me know what series you want me to read next on the channel if you want more book videos. I'd love to do them. Right now I'm reading People We Meet on Vacation, and I'm gonna try and catch up on all the summer books I've missed because I've been reading this. But it's okay, I think I'll finish them before the end of August. Yay, Crescent City! Thank you guys for watching, and my vengeful veneer. I will see you in the next one.